Hi, I'm Lisa Redfern, and this is Gingersnap, a conversation.
You have to keep it. You have to keep it.
A conversation and a cookie with a creative mater. I'm going to say it really quickly. This is episode 86. I cannot believe it. Oh my gosh. So I'm here in Freeport with a dear friend of mine, Katherine West. I know her as Katie. And she's one of the most creative mainers that I've ever known. You've done so many things. I mean, you've done like...
short attention.
Uh-oh. We're already losing it. You've worked at Shawanki. You've been an outdoor educator. You have done laughter yoga. And then had the Levity Institute. You now have, I'm gonna say it wrong, Caravan Serai. Caravan Serai. Sounds like one word, but it's Caravan Serai.
It is one word.
Okay.
It
is Caravan Serai. And it's really beautiful. And I'll have a link to Katie's website at the bottom of this. And we're here at her home in Portland. And
Freeport.
Freeport. We're at her home in Freeport. And we're having beautiful, beautiful bowls of tea. Thank you so much. Mine is turmeric.
Ginger.
Turmeric ginger.
And mine is recently foraged nettle. Yum.
Yum. All right, Katie. So tell everybody about the tea house, where it's been, how long have you had it, and where people can go to find you.
Did I talk to you or did I talk to the camera?
No, you can talk about all of us.
I think I started building, I was just thinking about this, 2016 is when we started building it. And it came from an old barn that got taken down in the Hudson Valley and reconstructed into this. And it took about 5 months to build. I had a long time love of Gypsy caravans. And it turned out totally different. Like, it just kept evolving every day. And then it travels around and serves tea to people. And we've served tea, anything from community organizations to birthday parties, rites of passages, weddings. But it's really, I really love doing the community gatherings because when people come together, like there might be an arts event or like the Nature Conservancy, that kind of thing.
So someone can get a hold of you if they want to have a special event?
Yes, if they can spell the name. They can spell.
Oh, well!
The name came from a dream, and so it's like, I just went with it. But I know that it's really challenging.
So if you have been in any of Katie's dreams, just go ahead.
You might get something named after you.
Oh,
but you'll have a thing of how it's spelled, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I will. I'll have a thing. Oops. Oh, my Gingersnap, it's like a person. It really wants to show up. Hi. Okay. So we don't get cookies yet. So when did you first come to Maine? I know the answer.
Oh my God.
You know.
You do?
Yeah.
You know. Wait, was that when I first came? I think you should tell
Tell them.
But, okay, so I first came to Maine. Well, no. I first came to Maine in 90. In 90. 1990. I mean, I visited as a child. But I first moved here when my mom moved here. And I stayed in high school in St. Louis. And I would just summer up here. And then I went to college years. But then, what year was that? 94?
That's what I...
94, yeah. I showed up on Lisa's doorstep asking for a place to live. While I worked on a big ship, a big, tall ship. And she said yes. And then that was the beginning of reconnecting with you in Maine. Yeah. So 94, I can't do the math. 24 years.
Okay. Oh, we have a kitty. I'm hoping that one of Katie's kitties shows up because, oh my gosh, they're so cute. All right, Katie, do you know your first word? But if you don't, what do you think it could have been or might have been?
I think it's apple. I really do.
Okay.
I think it might have been apple.
We're going to go with apple.
Cookies now.
Cookies now. So my first word was cookie, which is why
really?
I asked that.
It wasn't Gingersnap?
This is the most massive cookie. This is the Heath Bar cookie from, and this was, well, oh shoot, it's coming apart.
We ate a little.
Wait, I wrote down what kind they were. This is the chocolate Heath Bar cookie, and this is the butterscotch almond toffee cookie. It was whole until so we're going to have
the other part.
Show the folks at home how good this is. These are from Flying...
When Pigs Fly.
Flying
Pigs. This is where my kids and I go after school for little snacks because they have a little sample table.
I sampled.
And they're very generous.
I was in there, and that woman, Erica, watched me. Now I know her name is Erica. She watched me sample several times on all of the tables, and she's like, "Can we help you?" Oh yeah. We can help.
Good.
So, did you have a cool car when you were a kid that you'd get back if you could? Or not? It doesn't have to be when you were a kid, but when you were a teenager.
I mean, so we had like the Carmen Ghia, which is just
stop.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, broke down all the time. I have a lot of memories of being on the side of the road.
We're trying to sit cross-legged.
And then we had a green rabbit. And the best thing about the green rabbit was my dad told me, like if you buy the lower end model car, there's just blank spaces where like the other features would be.
Yeah,
I didn't know this at the time.
There's a lot of
and I was like, what does that one do? And my dad said it made the car hop.
Oh.
And so I always wanted to touch it, but I didn't get up the nerve literally for like years until I was beyond the point I should be curious, and I touched it, nothing happened. And that was like, but I still
so if
like
you could
it.
get that back, you would. And you could touch all the things.
I think that car has the most memory. I remember there was a Pinto in there too.
Oh, Pinto.
There's one of those other really large ones, but
my grandmother had a Pinto. That thing was. I can't get comfortable. Sorry.
We're all on the floor here.
I'm gonna have a little pillow between us. Okay. I know you love to read. Mm-hmm. This is like an island. Maybe we'll just hang out on the pillow. I know you love to read. Do you have books that you recommend over and over again? Or have recently recommended?
I go like in phases with books, but I'd say most recently is Wild Mind by Bill Plotkin. Have you heard of it? I have it right here. I like the title.
Can you? Yeah. It'll be backwards because of
that or Rumi, but I'm going to choose this one some more. But it's backwards. It's backwards.
It's because a photo book.
It's a field guide to the human psyche, and I just went out west and studied with him, and it's really just brilliant because he breaks up by directions, like the north parts of ourselves, the west parts, the east parts, the south parts, and then the parts that are like it's kind of like the kind of like the dysfunctional part, and then the potential for it to be the wisdom part is like on the outside of the circle. But it's really compelling, and for me, because of my background in the wilderness, it involves that kind of metaphor. So it's really good.
Wow.
Yeah, I recommended it to a bunch of people.
Okay, great. I'm going to add that to my list. At some point, I know I keep saying I'm going to do this, but at some point, I'm going to collect all the books that people have recommended over the last 86 episodes. And, share them with everybody. I think that would be really cool. So is there an album or a couple of albums or a song or something that is like a leitmotif or a touchstone that comes back to you over and over again?
It's so funny because I think there was an album for like a long time. Like it was probably like Joshua Tree or something. But I think that, interesting enough, like instrumental is what. So like two cellos, flamenco, or there's this particular album of the Roma or the Gypsies, Lactodrome.
Lactodrome.
Yeah. So all of those, there's something about that kind of old world that that feels like the motif. Like flamenco, the way it's just like so rich and like there's something about that.
That was a really beautiful documentary about the Gypsies, Lactodrome.
Yeah.
And then that was the soundtrack, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. I think I may still have that CD. I should get that back out. So, Catherine, if there was a movie made about you...
very serious.
I know.
I'm very happy. We were having a hard time for a while.
If there was a movie made about your life...
Oh, no.
What genre would you choose for it to be, and who would star as you?
I think...
I know.
Okay, I think it would be like meditation hip-hop. It would be like my genre.
Next time you go to your movie store, kids, ask them where their meditation hip-hop section is.
I think that expresses the...
I like it.
The paradoxical.
Yeah.
And who would star as me?
Okay, there's a comedian who I love. Her name is Pamela Eldon. And she has a show called Better Things, I think is what it's called. It's on Amazon or Netflix. And she's older than you are, but as soon as I saw her, I went, oh, that's Katie! Oh my gosh. I'll show you pictures of her after. She's really beautiful, and I was like, oh my gosh, she reminds me of Katie.
So that's who would star as me?
I think so.
That, I often get Minnie Driver. And then
I can see
Julia.
that.
What's it? Louise Dreyfus.
Julia
like
Louis
people
Dreyfus.
that have that kind of the pointy chin. The pointy
I'm sure
chin.
it's more than the...
I have a pointed chin.
Or big cheeks. That's really the no. So meditation, hip hop with the comedian. That sounds about right.
Pamela and Minnie Driver. I love Minnie Driver. So would the person who would portray you, would she have an Irish accent?
No. Maybe we could find a nice Syrian, Middle Eastern woman. Yeah. I've been a little more interested in that lately.
Yeah, tap some if anyone out there knows a young Syrian American
who's good at both meditation and hip hop.
And who wants to go ride around in the Caravan Serai Tea House.
You'll get it.
Caravan Serai. Okay, so if someone wants to reach you, the best way is for them to go to your website, which is Caravan Serai
Teahouse.com.
Teahouse.com. Yep. I knew that. I totally knew that.
Just like I knew all the questions for this. She said she sent them. I never saw them.
Oh my gosh. All right. Katie, you've been Gingersnapped.
I have been?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we can talk about anything else that you want to talk about. What's next for you?
I'm serving tea. Okay. So doing tea ceremonies. Like tomorrow night, there's a tea ceremony being held. And it's called the Night Sea Journey tea gathering. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm starting to do more tea ceremonies that are in the dark. Kind of like, because it allows, like we live in such a bright culture, shiny, glitzy. And so lately I've been really attracted, I think because of Bill Plotkin's work, to letting the darkness, the literal darkness, allow kind of our softer, more tender parts or vulnerable parts to emerge.
Will there be like a fire or candles or total darkness?
No, candles.
Okay.
Candles, not total.
Mm-hmm. That's
good.
That's really nice. Yeah. Mm. Do you ever do tea ceremonies in relation to the moon cycles?
Oh, that's like a great
full moon tea ceremonies.
No, but that's a great. I mean, in my own life, I definitely am very alert to the new and the full. You too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I bet we really got kind of productive on this. Are there any other world's problems we'd like to solve?
Do you have any advice for? Do you have any parenting advice?
Oh boy.
Yeah, because you've been doing it a long time.
In what way?
I haven't actually ever asked anyone for parenting advice, though I have interviewed a lot of people who are parents. But I think I'm thinking a lot about it now because my two stepsons are now 13 and almost 15, and I've had so little time with them, and I now am looking at a limited time with them, and I'm feeling like, all right, what things do I want to experience with them? What things do I want to impart? How do I want to spend this time with them before they fly?
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking about.
That's what you're thinking about. Yeah. Like that. Yeah, I feel like each stage of parenting has such different, it's amazing. It just keeps changing. And I too feel like I'm hitting that point of like I'm sending my kids to camp for the first time this year.
Sleepaway camp?
In a month.
Ooh, wow.
And I was so holding space for their part of it. Yeah. And then just 2 days ago, I was like, oh, they're going to be away. Mm-hmm. But I think, so this is what I think about that I've been thinking about a lot is really preparing them for their own life. Do you know that, how do I say this? I've been thinking a lot about rites of passages and, how to say it, what are the missing rites of passages in our world? Because that's what I was just writing about. So it's so camp felt like a way to give them that process of, okay, this is the big journey and you can do it. And I think it could be manifested in a number of different ways. But that's what I've just been thinking about. And I don't mean prepared for life and the, how do you clean your room or how you make, though we're starting to focus on making meals. But it's do you really have the inner resources? And what were the inner resources I wished I had? And just the main one I think right now that I've been focusing on is just making sure they really know they're loved. Above all else, I think that's the greatest thing to leave our parents home with. It's just that we know we're loved and that we have our own wisdom. That's been my big one for my son. Thinking about raising a young man.
But he has the tools.
You have the wisdom. And for my daughter, you have the voice. You can trust your voice. So those have been my two big ones.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah. And something I wanted to ask you about tea, since tea is so important all over the world and sharing tea with people, and tea means different things, and different kinds of teas have different qualities, and they reach different parts of us. What do you think is the most important thing about tea in someone's life?
That's beautiful. I think since I'm still recent to tea, it feels very alive to me, like the love of it. And I think the most important thing for tea as well is the slowing down, and the old world. Like the old world ways that I think we all have in our like collective kind of unconscious or our psyche. Mm-hmm. I think when we drink tea, and that's why I have bowls instead of cups, it's because
I love the bowl.
Like there's, in the Japanese tea ceremony, it's like it's said the marriage of the hands and the lips and the tea. And it just requires such focus. And I think that that's so foreign to how we live, or me, because I could be very busy. But at the same time, it's so familiar. Once you start slowing down, you're like, and people always ask me like if I do more like the Japanese or Chinese tea ceremony, but since I'm Middle Eastern, like it's more like there, it's like everybody come, like have tea, like sit,
Well, that's what I first felt when you poured this for me at first, and I just felt like, a child sort of drinking the milk from after having cereal, and how comforting that felt. Like, this is mine. I don't know. There's something sort of, it means that you're not holding a mug with one hand and doing something else. You're really slowing down and just, like you said, just focusing on that. And it feels like tea, whenever you go to someone's house, like the first thing whenever I would go to my grandmother's house, sit and have a cup of tea before you did anything. It was to me, it feels like it's a really sweet transition between the busyness of things or the outside world, or having a cup of tea. Yeah, it feels like, and it's for, like now in the evenings, if we're about to go to bed, we always have a little bit of we have this nocturnal nectar actually that we drink, that it's just, you can really feel yourself kind of like just powering down, letting the day wash off of you. And I
think you connect like to yourself, or if you're with someone. And that's, you asked me what's next, and I realized like that's my dream. I would love to go into like corporations and serve tea. Oh, because when I've done it for some big group meetings, and the quality, I can't explain it. So much with tea I cannot explain, but I witness. Yeah. And it's like what was like a really heady conversation turned really grounded. It was weird.
Like they're allowed to nurture themselves or something in that.
Well, maybe because we have a
period of.
Well, we have a culture that's like we're going, and I can be so fast like that. But then when I drink tea, and especially I'll serve it in the bowls, you totally slow down, and then you're in your body, and then you're not as separate anymore. And so you imagine being like at a big meeting. Yeah. And you're like, have all these thoughts, but then you're like, it's like that kind of contrast. I feel like people speak from a more rooted place. Yeah. And I feel like conversations can be entirely different. Yeah. So whether it's corporations or meetings, but something of marrying those worlds, because we do live in such an intellectual society. Yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm fading back. She told me not to fade back. Just that marriage. And I think that's how people describe tea, is tea is the marriage of heaven and earth. That's how the other cultures describe it.
That is so beautiful. Wow.
Thank you, Katie.
Hey, thank you. So fun. So this has been Gingersnap 86, and I'll be back in a few weeks. And I should tell you that, let's see, in June, I think I have 4 different times when I'm performing, but you can go to my website, lisaredfern.com, and find out about those. And so thanks so much.
Thank you.
And you didn't get to see the kitties, but they're really, really cute. Oh, there goes one. Here we go. This has been Gingersnap.